to the 15th of August. Time for another quick homework challenge chat with Laurie and Lisa. Here you are, we have a name now. We will have other guests, but we're just fine-tuning a few things at the moment. So thank you for joining us. We're here to give you some suggestions and thoughts on many of the homework challenges, or homework, it's not really homework, just weekly challenges, chats that are happening in the cross-stitching community. So if you've just found us, welcome. Hopefully we give you some pointers that you can use. And if you're one of our regulars, we really appreciate you coming back week after week to get some help. And remember, we're always open to helping by commenting on the post where we post this. That would be fine, and we can help you with a few things. All right, there's lots of things happening in No New Starts this week. It's a big week. Today is actually the official WIP check-in day. So you're meant to have your progress photos posted for what you've done in the last 3 months. Doesn't need to be progress on every single WIP, but you do need to have the progress showing. Unfortunately, Facebook's being a bit of a doozy today and not letting people post on their albums. So don't stress. I reckon if you get it done in the next sort of 2 days, if Facebook lets you, that would be fine. I'll let the rest of the admin team know that we'll hold off on checking for a couple of days. It's not going to be a problem, just a couple of days, but just please, we'll watch this space. And if you're having problems after that, we'll work out an alternative. Such joys Facebook is. We've got the next birthday sale starting tomorrow. Anything Little House. So you can join. Remember, you just need to do a start and a finish, show some progress, and then a random person gets selected for the entry into to win a little birthday treat. It doesn't have to be your birthday, you're just participating in the birthday sale. And on Wednesday the 18th, it's the 18th, it means it's Scrabble Day. Scrabble Day is going to be a little bit different this week. Carlo has done the video. We tried to do it together, but we were having some technical difficulties. So you don't have the official, invigilator, supervisor, or whatever they're called, from the, lotteries department, aka me, sitting in the background. It's just Carla this week, but that's all good because that's who you need. You don't need me anyway. So Scrabble will be up. I do know it's a 5-letter minimum this time, and 200 stitches. Nice. So yeah, she's being a little bit trickier this time. As she said, she changes it every month. Just keep you on your toes. So that's what we've got happening in No New Starts. So quite a big No New Starts week. What's happening in Daily 30?
Daily 30's weekly prompt this week is State Fair Week. It runs from August 13th through the 27th.
How many stitches?
The stitches are 300, 200, and 300. So 200 are 2 hours, or 300 and 3 hours. And the points are equal to that. 3 tokens for 200, 4 tokens to 300. I said that in the most awkward way possible. So
it's all right. I think we understand.
Yes.
And as usual, the alternate stitches would be at 100.
Yes, correct. So the first prompt is stitch on a WIP with something really big in the design.
Oh, really big. Now I have not prepared these at all yet. Really big. Definitely going to be a organic discussion today. Well, I'm thinking, could I do my sampler because there's a really big map of Australia in it?
I think so, yes, definitely. Because I'm interpreting really big as either really prominent in the design or the thing in itself is big. A continent is big.
Yeah. I mean, I'm imagining, like, what came to mind instantly was some of the samplers with a big house in the middle. Great big ass house in the middle. So anything you've got with a great big house. I'm sure I have other things. I'm still working through my 21 in 21.
Oh yeah.
So if I wasn't trying to work on my sampler so much, I would think I could do Spring House Trio because they've got a big ass house in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would go with that. I would go with a big bird. So Nevermore has a big prominent bird in the
A
design.
very big prominent bird. Yes. Yes. Awesome.
Okay, second prompt would be stitch on a whip related to your favorite beverage. Be sure to explain your choice.
Well, I would have to bend the truth for this
Mhm.
because my favorite beverage is Diet Coke, and I definitely have nothing. Although, ooh, I could do something with water in it.
Mhm.
So I think I might do, well, I could do my sampler, obviously,
Mhm.
but I could also do Anzac for the same reason, because Diet Coke has got a lot of water in it, and there's a lot of water around Australia and New Zealand.
Very true.
And I'm Australian, and I like Australian Diet Coke, because when you go on to other countries, it's actually different because they use, you know, slightly different sugars or whatever it is.
Yes. Mine would be coffee, and the explanation I had was not that it's necessarily my favorite, but it's the besides water, the beverage that I drink daily versus anything else. So I am doing coffee Quaker, and let me share my screen. Here. I am doing coffee Quaker. Let me scroll to it right there.
Yeah. Oh, that would work. Definitely.
Third prompt, stitch on a whip related to the harvest season.
I have lots of choices for this, but I'm thinking through the ones that are on my 21 in 21. And the harvest season to me fits in heaps with pumpkins. So I'm thinking possibly my very scary Halloween because of the great big pumpkins which you would harvest during harvest season. Do you reckon that would cut it?
I do.
Now remember, we have no authority over whether these are accurate or not, but Daily 30 do say that if you can spin the story and it makes sense, they'll buy it.
Definitely. Well, if you've been watching us for multiple sessions, you'll know what I'm about to say. As the leaves turn, there's a huge pumpkin harvest right there.
Yeah. Pumpkin harvest too.
Yes.
I have lots of other whips that would do, but as I said, I'm trying to stick to the ones that are 21 in 21.
Yes. So fourth prompt, stitch on a whip that has a lot going on. Be sure to explain your choice.
Ooh, so many choices, but again, trying to not necessarily double dip over onto my zombie run pieces.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think through these ones. I think actually, you'd be surprised, but I think there is quite a bit going on in the 12 days of Christmas. It's a very busy pattern,
Yeah.
and there's 12 different things happening.
Yes.
So I think I could continue working on that one if I wanted to. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously my Hades and things, there's so much going on. Probably the only one I could do would be this one, because it's not a zombie run piece. My Once Upon a Fairy Tale, because obviously there's a hell of a lot going on in that.
Yes.
Is that your one?
Yes, I am doing World Travel Bookshelf.
Oh,
Those bookshelves are very busy. And the explanation that I gave was that there's image layered upon image, and that makes it really busy visually. Mhm. But another thought I had was like a chatelaine or some piece that has so many varied stitches, varied threads, like or beading. That could be interpreted as a lot going on.
but also just a Quaker.
Oh yeah.
Lots and lots and lots of different motifs in a Quaker. I could just do some more on my Anzac because there's a lot going on in Anzac as well. So long dogs and Quakers.
Mhm. Very true. So the fifth prompt is stitch on your most fair-worthy whip. Explain why it would win a blue ribbon.
I honestly don't think any of my whips would deserve blue ribbons these days. I used to be so neat. I'm just seeing if there's one I want to work on. I think you could probably spin a story about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I mean, I think I could spin something because of the need for my designs, but probably this one, because I could say it's fair worthy because of the work on the linen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my number sampler from all my years.
Mm-hmm. Your chatelaine, that's my pick. So,
I guess I just haven't had enough of mine to have it in the category of thinking that it's fair worthy yet.
Yeah. So, show a little image here. This is all beading, and there's golden cranic around here and up in the, I don't know if you call that, I don't know, some type of feature. But anyway, lots of beads, lots of specialty stitches. I think it will be glorious when it's finished, however many years it takes me to finish. But to me, that would be fair worthy. And I, again, explained it out that the specialty stitches, the beading, in the presentation, and it's just, yeah. Yeah. That is it. The last prompt is, again, the daily 30, which is you stitch at least 30 minutes a day. You don't have to count it, but you do have to post a start and a finish for each day in 5 consecutive days to earn the total points.
And you can do different pieces every day if you wish.
Yeah.
Semisane has got a few things happening at the moment. Just before I forget about the days, there's 2 days that are relevant to the whip days. And the first one is Black Cat Day. Do you have anything that you would pull out for Black Cat?
I do. I have a little Halloween small, and there's a little black cat there.
Ah, super cute.
Yes.
I also have quite a few now with black cats, but my choice would be this one because Sleepy Hollow, there's the black cat on there, and I've actually got one I've got to stitch down here where I'm up to, because it's one of my pieces. So is still happening.
Yes.
They've had a bit of a shuffle of admins this week, but everything's still going ahead, which is great. The girls are working hard to pull it all together, and I'm loving it because the roll's coming out earlier now, which is really helpful. Okay, so Black Cat Day is one option, and the other day, which is on the 21st, is Honeybee Day.
Oh, yeah.
You've got this. I don't have Honeybee Day, but you don't have Honeybee Day.
I do. I can show it really quick in my screen. The bee comes, got, bee gum there, and then the honey combs and the bees.
Definitely good choices. Okay, Supernatural Stitchers. So Supernatural Stitchers is again season 5, episode 4, the end. Same thing as usual. You pick how many hundreds. So you just do whichever prompts you can suit. She has lots of prompts that fit in with the episode. Stitch on a project someone else talked you into starting.
Wow. That's tough. I'm a pretty independent person.
If it's a Sal or something like that. I don't know, you tend to get swayed in the enabling front.
I do. I would say not the particular whip, but the reason why I chose this whip in the first place to do the year-long alphabet with Semisane.
Mhm.
And I picked language of flowers, so I would say I got talked into that. Not that particular whip, but the whole alphabet sampler thing.
I'm struggling, but I guess I would probably go with my Once Upon a Fairy Tale, because we were all really G'd up about starting it all together when it was released, and everyone conned me into starting it. So I would say that one. Stitch on a project that's part of a series, though you don't intend to do the whole series.
I think I would go with, it didn't have to be a formal series. I would say Cozy Cove, in that Dimensions put out a few Wasaki pieces. And it's part of, I don't know if you call it a series, but I would try to spin it that way.
A series of Charles Wysoki's.
Yes.
Well, for me, quite easy to know which one I'd do. Springhouse Trio, Waxing Moon Designs. I want to do all the seasons, but I do not want to do all the holidays, because there is a patriotic one, which is absolutely no relevance to me whatsoever in Australia. So I know I won't do that one.
Got it.
Stitch on a project that features fire or oil in some form.
Well, that would have to be my world travel bookshelf, just because you can see in this image that they look like gas lamps. That doesn't look like electric. Could be, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll just say it's
fire.
electricity.
Well, I'm doing exactly the same thing, not the same piece. But my very scary Halloween has candelabras with actual candles up the top. So I would be using that one for the same reason. And remember, I like to double dip mine for Supernatural. My biggest problem is remembering the post when I get to Sunday. I have so many groups post in, I always forget about posting my Supernaturals, which is just doing me out of stash dollars, so it's my own stupid fault. Stitch on a project that features a child, or that you're stitching for a child.
I would have to do my girls. They're all clearly juvenile, I think, so with the ponytails, so.
Definitely. Well, I would do my Raspberry Homecoming, because they're obviously children down the front, because they're shorter versions of adults.
Yeah.
Stitch on a project that's very girly.
No, that's hard. Man, if you had a Mirabilia, which I don't stitch those, that's really girly.
Yeah.
I think something about butterflies and sewing. So I'm going to say Grounding Force, because that's pretty girly to me.
Yeah, that's girly.
Yeah.
And with that fairy. I think anything with fairies is very girly.
That's true.
Again, my choices are limited to what I'm meant to be. I have plenty of choices for this. I have lots of girlies. I might, yeah, I'll do your suggestion. My Alice by Mirabilia. She's very girly.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Stitch on a project you consider your pandemic project. Oh, I can't do that one, because my pandemic project is not in my 21 at the moment. It's funny, since we're basically back in the pandemic, so it really should be. But
yes.
In case you're wondering, let me share you mine. I know I jumped in on you. The 2020 pandemic sampler is my pandemic project.
Mine is the same. So
There you go. I showed it for you.
yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Stitch on a project that features a nature scene.
Oh yeah. Well, that would be my stream at Darhaven. There you go. That's nature.
Exactly what I was thinking. Okay. And for me, it would be my fairy tale village because it's got the little, outdoor lake and trees and things. So I think I could get away with it for that.
Mhm.
The next one is another one of those words ones, so it's really not worth bothering reading it. It's got so many letters you can choose from. Stitch on a project that presents an idea of time or an appointment.
Oh, that's hard.
I've got one while you're looking.
Okay.
My joy to the world. I feel like they could be traveling to an appointment. I know they're looking at a toy shop, but it feels to me like someone's arriving somewhere in a particular time. So
Got it.
that's what mine would be.
I don't even think I have a picture of it because I want to start it, not I have started it. But I would have to pass on that one.
Okay, and that's fine. We're doing pretty well at fitting them in.
Mhm.
And the last one is stitch on a project that features an iron object prone to rust. And so
Yeah.
instantly I have the same one come to mind because of those iron light posts.
Mhm.
Not that I usually double dip them, but I'm not going to be doing them all anyway. So
Yeah, I haven't done Azalee's turn for Supernatural yet. So there's a few iron things like in this hoist here, and then the parts on the trolley, and then there's the signs.
definitely.
So yeah.
Oh, that's good. So that is Supernatural done and dusted for another week. So feel free, that one is available, open to new members if you want to have some prompts to tell you what to stitch. Nice and laid back, no pressure whatsoever. Other groups around about, as I said, I mentioned Semisane before with also the Survivor is going along. Oh my goodness, it's brilliant for an intense stitching. Unfortunately, I think some people did sign up who didn't read that it was intense stitching. They did tell us, but I think people didn't believe them. And mostly though, what they didn't tell us originally, which would have helped, I think, is that we've been doing most of it so far in like tag team, like a relay. So you're really reliant on having people who can stitch at different times, which has been working out okay for us. But it would have probably been good to know that in the beginning. But it's really, really good. So we're about to launch tomorrow at the end of phase 2. So I think we might be heading to the merge. I'm guessing that, but that's my thought. And we are basically, I know my team's down to 4. So most teams would be down to 4 unless they've been winning lots of immunities. That's the word. I can never think of it at the time. So we are basically now doing in 6-hour sessions, got to stitch as many stitches as we can in a particular session.
Wow.
My goodness, that's a phone call from Russia.
Telemarketer?
Probably, but Russia, wow. Anyway, so that is going to be fun. And the team with the most stitches doesn't get eliminated. And I think the person with the most stitches in each team is safe from elimination too. So that's really good. Yeah, what's happening in some of the other groups?
Dynasty of Dragons, Heather put up a little quest, and it's not heavy stitches. It's more story driven, but it's fun. And thank you, Heather, for that. To move along, and there should be a reward at the end. It's running for approximately 7 days, and it's between rounds where we try to find dragon essences. So it's a nice filler. You can also still post stitches for pub items. You can still earn pub chips. You can still spar to figure out how to defeat some of the creatures. And that's in, I believe, through the pub. You can do it like an arena battle. And then you can also stitch for Vari's items, which is kind of like a shop where you can just purchase things anytime.
Awesome.
So that's what's going on in Dynasty of Dragons.
Crystal Academy is just finishing up the field trip, and I think we actually start today our next round, where we go back to our first whip for spell learning. But it was a really good. It was like an escape room challenge. Very creative story writing from Hannah, and it was really good. Just having the different choices. I've got to the end, so got 75 house points, which is good. So yeah, I enjoyed doing that. Nice little interlude, and now we're heading back to the real, meat and potatoes.
Well said.
What about in your pirate ship? What are we doing in the pirate ship?
Pirate ship, every ship is on their own map. We're on the second map, and we landed at Treasure Island, kind of like a Palm Beach Island. I forgot the exact term, but we have to stitch so many stitches to dig a hole to see if we can find some buried treasure. It's kind of fun.
I love the fact that it's such a laid back one. It's really good. And we've got a great team on our ship. Survival of the Stitchiest is continuing along. I know my crew are working on building the house, trying to get the fireplaces. We successfully did a dragon hunt this week, so half our wood is paid for, which is great, and we're fully expecting something to pop up any moment. I'm sure there's some mischief and mayhem afoot, so it'll be interesting to see what comes up, because we've had a bit of a quiet week after getting hammered last week. What else is there? There's so many groups out there, people. You really can find something that suits you. One thing that I will say is, maybe have a look at who the admins are of a group before you join, because there's different groups of people that run different groups for games, and they have different personalities. So if you are aware of any of their personalities, you might want to stick to the ones with people you know and like, rather than the others. And if you don't know and you're not happy somewhere, you can always just leave. There's so many games out there. I don't really know how you find them all, but there's numerous ones. The zombie one I was playing got shut down, unfortunately. Not quite sure why, but there was a bit of toing and froing and argy-bargy over that one. So if you're interested in zombies, there's another one that's to do with the Day of the Dead you can join. There's Handcrafted Pioneer. It's a really fun one where you're building a settlement, working on a settlement. And then there's a couple that have started up about traveling around the world, where you can just do a laid back stitching in teams to travel to different places. And there's also a new Harry Potter one, but it's only very small. And as far as I know, it's full, but stitching for your house points in Harry Potter. So yeah, have I forgotten any that you know of, Laurie?
No, you've covered more. And yes, you can overwhelm yourself by joining all the things, or you can just pick one or two things to help you keep motivated to stitch through those down periods. Or if you have like a large block of black or a single color, sometimes these little stitching challenges will be just what you need to push through that, hurdle. So
one of the things I like about them is that actually meeting new people. And I've met a lot of really cool friends through it. And some are great friends, but I also like to meet new people too. But if it's a team challenge where you have to work together, you need to really be a reliable team member. I say this all the time because there's always people who don't. I think as far as the ones I play at the moment, I get most motivation probably from Survival of the Stitchiest, but it is very team focused, and there's always something to do. There's no downtime really. If you're more just a chilled back, relaxed stitcher, I would, join one of the round the world ones. And if you're really interested, just, drop me a note and I'll find the actual name of the groups for you. But around the world one or the pirate ship one, they're much more laid back and you can just stitch along. Individual ones, obviously daily 30, which is closed, but some of the Semisane events as well are good for if you just like to do the individual stuff, if you're self-motivated. I like working with the team. I like being able to feel like I'm a valuable contributor to the team, and it does get me doing far more stitches than I otherwise would have. All right, guys, I think we've rambled on enough this week. So we wish you a very happy week of stitching, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Bye.
Bye.